Hello, welcome to our project update. I'm Lee Wilson and I'm Director of the Graduate School at the University of Westminster.
Hi, I'm Sally Shakti-Willow and I run a business called Writing and Thriving.
Sally Shakti and I were involved in the project that we ran out of the graduate school at Westminster, Wellbeing When Writing, that was funded by the Research England Office for Students Catalyst Fund. The project really began for us with a sense that the processes of writing for doctoral students had really been ignored, and we wanted to address their engagement with the process of writing itself. So not so much academic skills that may be explored, and not so much sort of subject-specific training around producing the thesis, but something about the actual process of writing itself, which is so often very daunting for doctoral students. And when we were thinking about this, we realized that the place that had been most explored, most often taught and most theorized was in creative writing. And so what we wanted to do was bring together the kind of pedagogies of creative writing that, with the writing of the doctoral thesis. So in our project, we ran a number of workshops for all of our doctoral students, run by people who'd done PhDs but had also taught creative writing, in order to bring those things together. So we weren't teaching them creative writing, but we were using those pedagogies to support and guide our doctoral students. And one of the people that ran those workshops during the time of the project was Sally Shakti.
Yeah, thank you, Lee. In fact, when I started running the workshops, I was still completing my PhD at Westminster. And that actually gave me a really useful perspective because I was able to bring in the Westminster doctoral research structure, the doctoral research development programme, into the way that we structured and organised the support for students. So originally we were doing that on a kind of cohort basis, where we were looking at what are the writing needs of each different development point throughout the PhD process. I'm just going to share my screen to show how that has developed over the period of time, because we've been doing this for a few years now, and that's developed into a 4-stage structure that is no longer based on cohort, but it actually is applicable and scalable to any academic writing project and any academic writing process. So in the workshops, I have 4 main workshops that take the doctoral researchers through these 4 stages of the writing process. And I think what is important to acknowledge as well, especially for them in their writing practice, is that I would say probably 3/4 of the writing process is submerged and hidden. So this is often what causes a lot of stress for students when they are trying to create the perfect finished piece from scratch. So what I support them with is that understanding that writing is a process, and it's a process of development that starts with more free-flowing thought in response to what they have read and researched, and then moves through stages of development so that they begin next to start communicating an argument. The third part is to make that argument coherent so that the structure of the chapter or the structure of the thesis supports that argument. And then the final stage is the editing and redrafting. We do talk as well about how that cyclical process can, we can revisit that more than once in any cycle of creative writing or thesis writing, but also that it's important to have a cut-off point, that deadlines are actually really key to getting something done and handing it in. So I'm just going to stop the screen share there. And just to complete on how the project has developed since we started, which was back in 2018, I think we started this project. I now run the 4 main workshops throughout the semester at Westminster. And in between the main workshops, we have surgeries. So these are much smaller and more intimate. Students can come to the surgeries. They are unstructured, so I don't have the workshop content to be moving through specifically with them, but they come to me with their particular questions and concerns about writing their particular thesis. And one of the key issues that's come to light in those surgery sessions has been a number of practice-based researchers, particularly practice-based researchers of minority identities who typically and traditionally would have been excluded from the academic environment, academic context, coming with questions about the traditional structure of the thesis and how that isn't meeting their needs fully, and ways that we can explore a practice that is beginning to open up more in practice-based research, which is the questioning of the thesis structure in the writing itself.
Thanks, Sally Shakti, that's great. And I think what you said has made it really clear that the project that was initially funded through the Catalyst Fund was absolutely necessary to our thinking and to the sort of subsequent developments, but the subsequent developments have actually taken us so much further than our initial sort of conception of that project, which is brilliant. And in fact, as you just described, has taken us to a place where you know you're engaging in conversations with the students, quite radical conversations about the nature of the thesis. But what we have in place now as a permanently part of our doctoral training is really sort of supporting and giving students permission to think about the thesis in that way, and that's really amazing. So thanks very much, and thank you for watching.
Thank you, Lee.